Welcome to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show!
Welcome to Wholesale Hotline number 159. I'm Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People, sitting next to the man, Jamil Damji.
How you doing?
How are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
Just wholesaling deals?
Yeah.
Left and right?
How many houses you sell today?
2 today.
Sold 2 today?
2 today, locked up 2 today.
Let's look.
Absolutely incredible.
So,
some really fun deals.
You're in my Slack right now. I can't make stuff up,
Yep,
right?
I'm seeing it.
So we've got around 50 deals so far in play right now.
50 deals that you're selling.
Done. Yep. Closed.
Closed.
Sold.
Nice.
Today we did 1,
Boom.
2,
Boom.
3,
Yep.
4,
Yep.
5,
Yep.
5. That's what's up. That's called a wholesale operation. You want to know how many of those I was involved in? None.
How many of those did you go and walk?
None.
How many of those did you take pictures of?
None.
How many of those did you talk to the buyers?
None.
How many of those did you talk to the sellers?
None.
How many of those did you open up escrow with?
Ooh. Well, me personally?
Yes.
None. My company did.
Right.
My company opened escrow.
So let's break that down real quick. So people, how do you find these deals? Are people bringing you these deals?
Yeah, so the majority of Keegley's business, again, will always be from agent outreach.
Yep.
So our juicy, big deals come from our outreach campaigns to realtors.
Okay.
I teach that in the Astro community.
What do you mean? What do you mean juicy big deals?
So you know how we've got this idea in our head that when you co-wholesale or when you JV a deal, you're going to make a smaller profit margin than if you were seller direct. And that's real. Okay, why? Because if you're JVing, there's more people involved in the deal. That's just the reality of the situation, right? They also say that Keegley doesn't do any seller direct deals. Well, that's not true.
Right.
I do lots of seller direct deals. There just happens to be an agent involved in every one of them.
Sure.
That's it.
Sure.
So how do I get deals direct to seller? I work with real estate agents, and we send text messages to every agent in America and find out if they have anything coming to market that's in original condition or needing some or additional work.
Yep.
Or if they have a sticky situation we can help a seller get out of.
Love it.
And that's
because distress is not just the condition of the property. It's also
situational.
Financial distress, emotional distress. I mean, those are the 3 buckets. The condition is one of them.
Yep.
And that's a huge one.
Yep.
That's why I have ugly houses, big checks everywhere in this office.
Yep.
Is because that's where you can focus and really you can find, that property's in distress. But there's people that can't afford them anymore. There's people that they inherited this property and maybe there's a lot of emotions tied up with it because the family was there. The family gets a piece of all these things or whatever it is. There's so many different opportunities out there to find people that want to sell their properties fast for cash and be done with them.
absolutely. The key is always being able to understand what potential exists in the situation or the property, right? I have this example of the mansion I sold in Arcadia.
Mm-hmm.
Sat on the MLS for over 6 months at $900,000.
Yeah.
Right. Monique Walker had been trying to sell this and everybody was looking at the house as though it was just a mansion, a 6,000 square foot mansion in Arcadia. Nobody could understand what to do with the house. And it was so custom that when they listed it on the MLS, all the people who could afford that price point were like, yeah, I'm not really feeling your vibe in here. Right. Like the deal was this older gentleman had constructed the house for he and his wife.
Mm-hmm.
They were very eclectic.
Yep.
She passes away of cancer in the middle of construction. He finishes the house.
Yeah.
But now every corner of the house reminds him of his wife,
Mm-hmm.
right? From the built-in fish tank in the walls to the travertine that they had chosen for the floor. Everything reminded him of his wife, and he couldn't handle it anymore. So he lists on the MLS. Nobody wants to buy it.
Yep.
She comes to me, and I look at it and I say, it's interesting. This is a 6,000 square foot mansion, and everyone is focused on the condition of the mansion.
Mm-hmm.
But what if we bulldoze the mansion?
Well, that brings me up something to keep going.
Well,
Yeah.
it was sitting on an acre of land, and
Mhm.
an acre of land in Arcadia is actually worth $1 million plus.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden now we have a $900,000 listing of a house on a piece of land that's worth more than the house itself.
Right.
So what do? I package the deal. I
Mhm.
sell it to a developer for $1 million.
Mm.
I make a $100,000 assignment fee. I give half of that to Monique Walker for
Mhm.
helping me.
Yep.
The seller gets his $900,000, all net to him. He pays Monique no commission.
Yep.
So he gets 900 net. If I had come on the MLS and done that deal with him, he would have paid $900K minus 6%. Because he would have had to pay Monique, he would have had to pay my agent. So we got the seller more money.
Mm-hmm.
We closed faster than a traditional financing offer would have closed, and we saved the day. We helped this individual out who was in a situational problem that he couldn't get out of without a creative solution.
I love it. Tell me some more. Okay, so you got agents sending you deals.
Yep.
And then you've got other wholesalers sending you deals.
And then we have other wholesalers that we get deals from.
Do they all now? Is it one of those deals where you guys are on lists and you see these properties and you just grab these properties and put it on your list and send it out there?
No, that's okay. So what you just described right now is called a daisy chain.
Right.
All right. That's when you are on another wholesaler's list, and instead of asking for permission to market, you just grab the information and send it out to your list. Personally,
Yes.
I don't have a problem with people doing that to my properties.
Okay.
I don't personally have a problem with it.
Right.
Why? Because I come from the viewpoint of more eyeballs, more money.
Right.
Okay. Now, a lot of people don't share that sentiment with me, and I understand why. You don't know the circumstance of the seller or what maybe a wholesaler doesn't want a seller to see the marketing.
Yeah.
You don't really understand who's going to see the house. You don't have contractual control, and it's illegal because you don't have equitable interest.
Okay.
See, here's the deal. The reason why I'm able to send out all the houses I send out,
Yeah.
all of my agents are licensed
Got it.
at Keegley.
Okay.
So I don't even need an option agreement to market the house because a licensed real estate agent is marketing the contract.
Got it.
However,
Yeah.
to make it even more legal, we get options signed.
Mm-hmm.
An option or written permission stating that we have transferred equitable interest to Keegley in order for us to market the contract.
Would that be a text? Can somebody text you?
It can be as,
I mean, obviously not as formal.
it's not as formal,
an option.
but it's satisfactory.
Right.
Having written permission in the form of a text or an email from another wholesaler stating that they allow you to market their contract is giving you or transferring the equitable interest to you in order to market it. Now, I prefer options. I prefer signed JV agreements. That's the way to go, but not every wholesaler is going to sign a JV or sign an option agreement. And so just getting written permission from them, in my opinion, again, there may be some real estate boards across the nation that may not agree with me. But in my opinion, written permission should suffice. However, at Keegley, everybody's licensed, so it don't matter because licensed agents can market whatever they want. They're real estate agents.
Do you find real estate agents to work at Keegley, or do you find the right personalities and get them licensed?
Both. We've licensed.
What works? What's easier?
Well, it's easier if they come in. It's easier and cheaper if they come in licensed.
Sure.
But in the long run, it's harder because retraining a retail licensed agent how to do business in the wholesale space is like trying to teach a cat how to be a dog.
Right.
It's hard.
What do you think? What do you think's the biggest limiting? What's stopping them from just understanding it right away? That, if you took somebody that was interested in wholesaling, they're like, I want to work at Keegley, and then they come in. Why don't real estate agents understand what wholesaling is?
Well, real estate agents have, for the most part, gone through a licensing rigmarole
Yep.
that is mainly focused on the legalities of real estate and how not to go to prison. Right.
Yep.
So as a real estate agent, you're not even taught how to comp at licensing school.
No.
They don't even teach them how to comp houses.
Right.
They teach them how not to go to prison. So you come out of licensing school pretty vigilant and pretty worried about all the different ways you can misstep and all the different ways that you can screw things up.
Yeah.
Again, why do wholesalers and real estate agents not work well together? Honestly, I think prior to Brent Daniels, prior to Jamil, prior to Pace, there was an old guard of educators out there who taught wholesalers to lie.
Yeah.
They taught wholesalers that they need to lie to real estate agents. They taught wholesalers that they need to lie to other wholesalers. They taught wholesalers that they need to lie to their sellers. They taught wholesalers that they need to lie to their buyers. They told wholesalers, lie to everybody. Nobody likes you. Nobody wants to see you make money. So that was the mentality that a lot of wholesalers came into the business with.
Right.
That what I do is shady. What I do is not above board. What I do is sneaky.
Stay in the shadows.
Yeah, so it makes people feel like being a gremlin is how wholesalers need to operate.
Yeah.
But the fact is I've been involved in transactions where publicly traded national home builders are wholesaling. I did a deal with D.R. Horton, America's home builder. Okay, they took a property that they had under contract that I was the seller on and wholesaled that bitch. I got wholesaled on by a publicly traded national home builder. And I didn't find that shady.
No.
And neither did the title company or the real estate agents, the commercial real estate agents that were involved and that were a part of D.R. Horton's business model. You think the real estate agent that was representing D.R. Horton said, hey, CEO of D.R. Horton, shh. Yeah, we don't want anybody to know that this is a buyer, so make sure you say your contractors when you're walking around.
Right.
You think that happened? No. Right? Why are we treating wholesale like it's some guy in a trench coat in New York City with a bunch of watches in his jacket?
I don't know.
It's not.
Yeah.
I hope I gave you guys a good visual there.
And how many, percentage-wise, do you think, how many are coming from agents sending you guys deals versus other wholesalers that need help selling? Because that's a big part of your business. Big part of your business is,
I would say,
hey, listen, I've got the buyers. You guys go find the deals. Because a lot of TTPers are working with a lot of Astro.
Yep.
And very, very, very closely building their businesses together because we're finding these incredible deals, but we might not have the buyers.
Yeah, you're focused on, and here's the thing, Brent, it's good to focus. It's good to have a direction. Look, your TTP students are going to get to their first deals a lot faster if they focus on staying on the phones, talking to sellers.
Right.
That's it.
Yep.
So let's stop worrying about building buyers lists. Let's stop worrying about Podio. Let's stop worrying about all these, extra details, all these extra things that make you distracted from the bottom line, which is getting contracts, right? My Astro community, I teach them how to work with other wholesalers and go and find significant buying opportunities and buyers. Again, I also teach them how to go agent direct, so they're getting their own deals locked up as well. So there's a huge synergy between TTP, Astro Flippers, Sub 2, because we all work hand in hand in being able to complete each other's deals.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Love it. I want to show you this and get your thoughts on it. I actually have it printed out here because we're a little bit far away from here. But this is, can you put this up, Matt? I think this is important for what, actually, you didn't even know I was going to bring this up, but this is important for what you were talking about when it comes to the different price points that these cash buyers come in at.
Yep.
So the way that I have this, and this is a little bit, this is from like mid last year. So some of the hedge fund institutional might be a little bit lower on this. But tell me what you think of this. So creative finance deals, I mean, people can pay 100% of what it's worth as long as the deal is packaged with wholesale terms. It's not necessarily a wholesale price, but it's got wholesale terms. So they're at the very tippity top. At the bottom is getting a property to another wholesaler. Wholesalers, you could sell it for probably the least that you could sell it for, and then it gets into the actual cash buyers, going up to fix and flip, BRRRR, rental portfolio. Airbnbs will pay a little bit more because there's bigger potential there. Value add, which is exactly what you were talking about
Yep.
knocking down that property and building something different there, or splitting the lots, or adding square footage, or adding another like guest house or mother-in-law suite, or ABU, I think it's called.
Yeah, ADU.
ADU, hedge fund, and then we're there at Creative Finance. What do you think about this when it comes to the price point? I'm saying the value of these properties.
This makes a ton of sense to me, right? So essentially, this document, guys, if you look at this, it says that creative finance buyers are typically going to be able to pay more money for a deal, and it decreases all the way down to a wholesaler, which is 100% correct, right? Yeah. Wholesaler will sell their property, a cash fix and flip deal, to a fix and flipper, so they got to get it below what a fix and flipper will pay.
Right.
A fix and flipper will typically fix the house and sell it. A BRRRR person, somebody who's coming in to rent it,
they're going to hold it, so they don't need as much.
They're not looking, they want to just be able to pull their cash out, right? They want to be able to pull their down payment and any remodel expenses that they had out, so they can pay a little bit more. Airbnb, rental portfolio buyers, they're just looking for cash flow. So these days, right now, I'm going to say that your rental portfolio, your BRRRR, and your Airbnb guys, they're going to be more compressed than what this document shows us. I think they're going to be tied. Then I agree with where you have value add, and I agree with where you have hedge fund and institutional buyer. And I would say that your owner occupant would be above your hedge fund institutional buyer. And then you'd have your creative finance guys. So those would be the little adjustments that I'd make. But this is phenomenal. This is a great visual representation of how somebody should be able to mentally think about what they can offer people when they're talking to sellers.
What I like this is, okay, does this property have potential? Is this in a neighborhood where it's a house, it's a small house on a good sized lot that you can add on to? Well, then you can pay more for that, right? Yes. This is where you see these properties that are really tiny next to the houses. It's similar to like the areas that you and I live in, where there's, these older properties, and then somebody goes out like you and totally expands the house and makes it big and beautiful and new, and next to a house that's older. And that house that's older, it's going to be higher in value. You could sell that for more to a cash buyer because it has the potential of adding on and getting the profit from there.
Correct.
So I think that's just a guide for you guys. Hopefully you guys took a screenshot. We'll put it up one more time, Matt. Take a screenshot if you don't have it, and flip around that owner-occ and hedge fund institutional. Those guys have gone lower. Owner-occupieds are paying more now than the hedge funds, because at a time, hedge funds were paying above.
There was a time when hedge funds were beating out owner-occupants time after time after time with their cash offers way above list. In fact, it's one of the conspiracy theories that I talked about on an episode of Wholesale Hotline, where I sold a house that had been remodeled. We had it on the show, Triple Digit Flip. Pace and I and Laura and Rahima had renovated a house beautifully in Maryville, and we put it on the retail market to be sold on the MLS.
Yeah.
And we were accepting offers over an entire weekend. Well, we wanted to sell the house to an owner-occupant. So we said, hey, first 72 hours, owner-occupants only.
Yeah.
So we get all these owner-occupant offers, and they were all at or above list. And then after 72 hours, an institutional buyer's offer came in, and we looked at it, and it was significantly higher than the last cash offer, but we still rejected it.
Sure.
We said, you know what? You're a little bit higher than our owner-occupant buyer, but we really want a family to get the house, so we're going to reject this offer.
Yeah.
They responded going above 50,000 above their last offer. And that's just got silly, right?
Yeah.
So naturally we accepted it, right? We're still business people. We're not crazy, right? So we took the additional $50K. Sorry, homeowner who missed out on the house, but you were going to overpay because of what Open Door was doing here. But here's the piece that really got me, was I went and looked at the holdings in the neighborhood. And I said, who owns the majority of the houses in this area here? Because why were they so willing to overpay? And then it all made sense to me. Yeah. Right? Why wouldn't they want to overpay for the house? Because now they've set a comp 50 or 60,000 above what the house is actually worth.
All their other properties.
Every other property became worth more money.
Not only that, but it's like Monopoly, right? They get to set what the rental rate is in that area. You know what I mean?
And look, this is the reason why we have politicians, screaming from the rooftops, wanting more legislation, wanting more control, wanting to control hedge funds, wanting to control investor activity, wanting to control flip activity, because when you don't control it, you get price collusion. I can't tell you what a more clear definition of price or price gouging, or what do you call that? Price controlling than what I just experienced on that sale. And is it legal? Yes. At this point, there's no one regulating it.
They're buying it cash.
They're buying it cash. They didn't commit mortgage fraud buying it. If they had gotten a mortgage on it and there was an appraisal on it, then yes, you could say, hey, these guys committed mortgage fraud, but they paid cash.
This is the fundamental thing. Buyers determine value.
Right. The
buyers determine value. That's the absolute fact. I mean, it works both ways. It works in our favor when we're making offers to property owners. But it also works in the other side when people want to go in and pay a bunch of cash that eventually they're going to be able to pull out somehow, right? They're going to get some sort of, of that cash out of there at some point. Maybe not. Maybe it's stuck in there for a while. Maybe they just have really super, super, super deep pockets and want to keep it in there. But usually they're going to get that money going, or they're going to get a loan on that property to buy stocks or whatever else. I mean, It happens all the time. Right. So Blanca asked a great question here. What do you advise those who are trying to work with an agent, but because they are unfamiliar with wholesale, they refuse to let you put it under contract?
Just keep moving. I'm not. Look, I'll talk to an agent and I'll say one of my exit strategies. But here's the fact, right? I could fix and flip. I do buy and hold.
Yeah.
I do Airbnb.
Yeah.
I do multiple exit strategies, inclusive of wholesale. So I'm not lying when I tell a realtor that I don't know what my exit strategy is going to be, because I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I might wholesale it. I might keep it. I might flip it. I don't know yet. We're going to figure that out during the inspection period. So, that's how I'm going to explain it to an agent. Now, if you're dealing with an agent who just says, look, I don't care if wholesale is even on your appetite, if it's even on your plate, I don't want to do business with you, then no problem. Thank you so much for the consideration. I'm going to continue moving on. Now, does that mean that I'm not going to follow up with that agent in a few weeks? 100% I will. Yep. I'll call that agent back in a few weeks and I'll say, hey, I noticed you still have that property available. You haven't been able to sell it yet. I'm just wondering, because I do have access to great cash buyers, are you still unwilling to work with me? Nothing has happened in the last 2 weeks. You could have given me a shot to get this deal done with you, and you could have gotten this off of your table, but you instead said no. I think I could have gotten something done, and instead, to just say no to me, you've now kept your seller on the market for additional 2 or 3 weeks. Why don't you give me a shot? So I'm not going to let that deal go. I'm going to be kind, and I'm going to say, okay, no worries. Thank you for considering me, and we'll talk again later. And then in a few weeks, I'll respond and reply and follow back up. Guys, following up is exactly what it is. Following up. Every no you get is just a no for now.
Yeah, and if you really want to get deep into it, you can track the amount of no's that you get before you actually get a deal, and then see how you can shorten that and shorten that and shorten that. I mean, there's an incredible book called Go for No that everybody should read in this business. It's like, 80 pages, real quick book. But it's really like, if you just like, okay, no, great, I'm just one step closer. It's all psychological. You know what I mean? It's when our emotions get tied up into it, and when our ego gets bruised, that we're like, oh, people don't want to do business with me. I guess this doesn't work. It always works.
Yeah.
It will work if you do.
Yeah.
I had a whole show on this last Wednesday about what's working right now in the market. You know what's working? Working.
Yeah.
That's what's working.
Yeah.
It works in good markets, bad markets. It works all the time. And it's something that I want to get into with you, but running plays that work. What works? Talking to agents that have listings on properties that need some love, building relationships with people that are going to refer you business, calling up, driving around in the neighborhoods, finding ugly properties that you can get the phone numbers like this now and call them up and ask them when do they plan on selling that property. That's what works. It'll work all the time in every single market. Mm-hmm. Squatting up with people that have unbelievable cash buyers while you're going out there and finding deals works Run the plays that work. Why are people trying to make everything up? Everybody's trying to make stuff up. Just stick to the stuff that actually works. Congratulations, Matthew. Closed a deal last week. Got another closing tomorrow and 2 more in escrow. The wholesale is going to net me around $35,000 in total. Brent, can I get a bell? You certainly can.
Baby.
Here we go.
Nice job, Matt. And Matt's an Astro, and he's got another deal right now that I tried to sell for him over the weekend, and he actually rejected the offer. So he could have had another deal in escrow where he was going to make $100,000 on it, but he's deciding to do the flip himself. So Matt didn't even tell us how good his last couple of weeks have been.
Look at Dimitri here. Dimitri's going bananas. Our wholesaler from Belgium.
Wow.
Moving in. He's going to move to the States if he hasn't already. He's sneaking in, and he's going to just do some amazing things here.
Incredible, Dimitri.
Dimitri had a seller sign for a deal in which I will net $140,000. This guy is the land master, by the way. Everybody should know Dimitri. Here we go.
Hit it. Well done, Dimitri.
Dimitri will be at the Growth Summit, not to plug it, but to plug it real quick. Growth Summit 2023. It's April 15th and 16th. You're there.
I'll be there.
I'm there.
Pace will be there.
Is there. Henry Washington's there. Tom Kroll's there. Todd Toback's there. I'm going to show you 10 plays at work in this market at that event. Dimitri will be there. You guys should be there. I'm telling you. There is 20% off right now. Go to growthsummit2023.com. Check it out. Awesome.
Exciting, man. That's going to be it's is that the first big event you're putting on?
It is.
Wow.
Yeah. Wholesaling Inc. hasn't had an event in 3 years. So this is really, really, really exciting. Yeah.
I'm excited to be there. I know Pace and I have been talking. We want to do something really special for because it'll feel like a Wholesale Hotline reunion with the three of us all together at an event like that. So get your tickets, guys, if you haven't already. What is the dates? April
15th and 16th here in Phoenix. So make sure that you guys get it in and get registered. There's only 300 seats. We only have about 100 left. So jump in there this week and get that. Jump in there now. All right. Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome job, Dimitri. And meet Dimitri, who just closed a $140,000 deal. So absolutely incredible. What's working?
Dimitri will also be there and he'll be giving out loans. So
there you go.
Just joking, Dimitri. Please come. So what else you say?
No, that's it. For the leads, here we go. Nathan, for the leads that do not pick up the phone, which is a majority of the list, what other methods should you do to get a hold of that homeowner? Great question, Nathan. You're obviously going straight to the property owner, my man. I love it. So you got a couple options. You can certainly text them. I mean, we're seeing texting pick up. We use Launch Control for that. They do a really good job, and they write a lot of the scripts. That's been a big issue in the past. But they got a team of copywriters that are doing a really good job and keep you TCPA compliant. So that's phenomenal. You can certainly go and knock on the doors if you're in the market that you're going after, Nathan. What I like doing, and it works about 50% of the time, is just take a really sticky, get the extra sticky Post-it notes and just write, call me, Nathan, and your phone number and put it on the front door. 50% of the time they call.
Yeah, the sticky notes, they absolutely work.
Yeah.
Another thing that I've noticed worked really well. People do get a little bit freaked out, but if you're at the property, if you're near the property and you can actually physically visit it, take a selfie of yourself in front of the house and text it to the homeowner and say, "Hey, is everything good here? Just checking. There might be somebody inside," and especially if it looks like it's overgrown and abandoned, there might be somebody inside. You don't know. Who knows? But Pace and I have done that before, and we got some pretty interesting responses.
Yeah, I think if you leave it kind of a mystery, and when they call, just make sure that you know kind of the area that they're calling or the neighborhood that they're calling from. So you might want to get like a call rail number that is area or neighborhood specific. And then, when they call in, it actually says it in your caller ID when they call in, and you'll be like, oh yeah, you're in the Century North neighborhood or whatever. Right. Efren.
Boom.
Come on. Astro Georgia family here closed 2 deals this month so far for a total of $20K. Have another deal closing in 2 days for another $8K, and assigned another one today for $2,500.
Come on, baby. Let's go.
All off market from agents.
Oh.
Congratulations. Absolutely incredible.
Love the bell.
Yes.
Mark Tyler has a question here. Mark, I want you to get a little bit more specific. Mark's question was, hey, Jamil and Brent, me and my partner just finished a 3-day privy boot camp. Can I get a more clarity on how to determine the cash offer? We need a little bit more information. First and foremost, what market are you in? It'll determine how much of a percentage of ARV you need to be offering. You can also use Brent's maximum allowable offer formula. You can also just look at and see, is the house in cosmetic or full gut condition, and determine what your remodel budget will be just based off of the metrics that we have there. And then that'll tell you what your offer price should be. So give us a little bit more detail,
Matt,
and we can give you
up that ARV.
We can give you
offer.
We can give you what percentage of ARV you should be going at, or what percentage of ARV your offer should be, depending on condition.
Okay, we'll put that up in just a second here. But basically, if it's above 250,000, you want to be, and this is if they're in rough shape. Don't do this if they're in really good shape, guys. Don't waste your time by throwing out a 50% offer if they're telling you that it's in good shape. But we've been pushing hard. So in my group, I've been teaching, really pushing to give everybody an offer. Conversations and offers. Like, that is what we're really focused on. Like, tattoo this on your arm so that you see it all the time. Conversations and offers, because that's what really is going to filter out the people that are unreasonable, or they don't really want to sell. You know what I mean? They would consider an offer, but they're basically like, hey, just give me like a free appraisal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people are curious what somebody would offer for whatever they have. You know what I mean? This filters out those people and gets to the core group that actually has made the decision that they're going to sign a contract, that they're going to sign a deed, no less, transferring title to somebody else. That's what we want to be talking with. Now, you don't have to deal with that if you're going with on-market properties, because they've already made that decision.
Correct.
But it really helps. Here we go. You want to put that up, Matt? Here we go. 250,000, 50%, between 249 and 100,000, 35%, and 100,000 or less, 10%. And these are properties that are in rough shape. This is just general, guys. Go to Jamil's Straight Outta Comping episodes and make sure that you are digesting that and putting it into your experience as quickly as possible.
Yeah, we didn't have a Straight Outta Comp on Sunday. We actually did it in the middle of the week last week to make up for it. I'm in the middle of writing my Bigger Pockets book and almost done. I'm in the last couple of chapters right now, and it has just consumed my life. Oh my gosh. But I'll tell you what, it'll be the best wholesale book ever written. And I mean, it's going to be put out by Bigger Pockets. Like,
yeah.
You know, they don't put out trash.
No.
You know,
how's Bigger Pockets feeling about wholesale now?
Listen, Bigger Pockets never had a problem with wholesaling if it was done above board and correctly. Bigger Pockets had a problem with shady and unethical behavior.
Devious.
And they weren't able to really see through the herd and decide who was teaching wholesale correctly.
Yep.
And if there were people out there that were actually doing it above board. Mm-hmm. I think the Bigger Pockets community has with open arms embraced wholesale. You were just recently on the Bigger Pockets podcast.
Thursday.
Congrats on that.
Thank you.
I saw your episode. It was fantastic.
Thank you.
Wanted to talk to you about the licensing requirement for rentals. You got a lot of people all fired up with that one.
Yeah.
But I think it's great. You know, I think it's really important to see that an institution like Bigger Pockets embracing you, embracing me, embracing Pace, and really looking at wholesale and creative finance as viable and very respectable ways to get involved in real estate investing.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, wholesale is their first transaction type.
Yep.
And it doesn't need to be your last. It doesn't need to just be your first. I have created a multi-million-dollar operation wholesaling houses.
Yep.
I'm one of the most respected people in real estate, and I do what people consider the entry-level technique of real estate investing.
Yeah.
How is that?
Yeah. I honestly think that people should talk to 1,000 property owners before they buy a rental property.
I don't think that that's wrong. I think that what ends up happening is you've got a lot of people who own rental properties that have talked to not nearly 100 people,
Right.
and it inflames them.
Yeah.
Because they think, well, why should I have to do all this work to own a property? But, you know, at the same time, talking to 1,000 people will put you in front of 1,000 houses, which will give you 1,000 opportunities to find good deals.
Yep.
Which will tell you 1,000 reasons or 1,000 things that could go wrong. So why shouldn't you? Why would anybody take offense to having to actually work? Well, let me guess. Because working is hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Working works, though. Omar, hi. Can you share your average KPI to get a deal from cold calling a month? Yes. You talk to 200 people that own ugly houses, and you'll do a deal. That's the average. 200 people having quality conversations with them will get you a deal.
Awesome.
Yeah. Agents?
Awesome. Our agents is going to be around 50 conversations a day.
Yeah.
And that's not, you know, for you, 200, is that just 200 one time, or is that 200 with a lot of follow-ups?
No, that's just initial conversations.
Got it.
That's 200 different people that you're talking to. Obviously, you're going to do lead follow-up.
Yeah. On what we've noticed in the agent model is if you're talking to anywhere between 30 to 50 real estate agents a day, and you're doing that 5 days a week, then you can, on average, do 3 to 7 transactions a month.
Yeah. Love it. There you go. So pick either way. You got to talk to people. You got to talk to agents. You got to talk to people that own these distressed properties. You got to go out there and be proactive. Unless you have a budget for marketing. Either way, you need to have conversations and offers. So how are you going to get those conversations? Are you going to go out and initiate those because you don't have a huge budget? You're going to trade your time for those conversations? Or do you have a budget that you can get people to call you? People that are going to call you and they're ready to sell. And those are phenomenal leads. They both work. It just depends on if you have the budget to be able to do that. Because the average cost it varies from market to market to market, but here in Phoenix for pay-per-click leads, it was like $15,000 to do a deal,
for
creeping up to $17,000.
Yeah.
For direct mail, it was like 12,000, 17,000. Like you go into major markets where there's a lot of people that have budgets to spend to get really big deals. And there's a lot of competition there. There's a lot of competition that you're going to deal with. So you got to spend a lot to be able to get them, and you can, or you can get referrals, which is what Jamil's talking about. When you build up a referral network of people that know that you're the person to bring these properties to.
The thing about paid marketing that I find to be a little bit more difficult to understand or wrap my head around is how to scale it. Okay, because let's just say, okay, you've got a budget.
Yeah.
You put out $20,000 a month.
Yes.
Okay. So you put out $20,000 a month, and that gets you a contract or 2 contracts, let's call it. 2 contracts, right? Yeah. Does that mean that $40,000 a month will get you 4 contracts? Does that mean $50,000 will get you 5? No, because what ends up happening is you spend more money, but you always put your best talent out first. And then as you spend more money, your best talent gets sucked away on appointments, and they're not available to take that next call. And so what ends up happening is that you've got this, deal machine that's working for the first little bit, but then after things start to break, the more money you spend, the more deals you're not doing. It really means you're spending more money, but you're getting fewer results. So there's this sweet spot for paid marketing that I've never really seen operation be able to break through. And the same thing happens with cold calls, right?
Yeah.
The more cold calls you make, you're gonna have talented cold callers like Luke, right? You trained one of America's best cold callers. I think I would call him. He is America's best cold caller, Luke Rotwald. If you guys don't know who he is, check him out. He's a TTP alumni, somebody that worked very closely with Brent for a long time, still works with him. Mm-hmm. You look at Luke and his metrics on his conversion rates, they're going to be dramatically higher than mine.
Sure.
They are. He's going to be better at cold calling homeowners and getting to the meat and potatoes of their conversations and what they want to hear than I will be.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to close at a much lower percentage than Luke will. I don't even know. He might even beat you. Who knows?
Oh yeah.
Right?
For sure.
He's phenomenal, right?
Yeah.
So every cold caller that you have is going to have a different capacity or a different metric. So guys, don't take Brent's 200 conversations and say, Brent, I talked to 200 people. I didn't get a deal yet. You're wrong. No, you don't say to me, hey, Jamil, I talked to 50 agents a day and I haven't got a deal yet. You're wrong. No, there's still something else. There's another factor that is involved, and it's your ability to relate to people. It's your ability to communicate. What's your tone like? If I call 200 people and I sound like a robot, I'm not going to get a deal. But if I call 200 people and I'm a human being and I ask real questions, meaningful questions, and I make and have good conversations, I'll get a deal. So there's a bolt-on to any KPI. Don't be a weirdo.
Well, it depends on who you're calling, making sure that you're pulling distress lists, and your talent. Absolutely.
Right.
And listen, you could talk to 200 people, but it takes 90 days.
It
to
does.
close that
Yep.
deal.
Yep.
If it's not on the market, it takes 90 days. So you're going to have people that say yes. Typically 10% of the people, if you're calling a distress list, are going to tell you, yes, I do want to sell this property. So that's 20 people. Out of that 20, it boils down to one.
Yep.
Who's that one that you're talking to? Who's that one that's going to sign the agreement? That's who you're looking for. That's what you're really looking to put together.
Awesome.
New Life Kenya says, when underwriting a wholesale deal, should we be taking an additional percent off, like 10% off our offer to compensate for current market conditions?
Yes, and possibly more.
Yeah. I took 6. So that 50%, 35%, and 10% used to be 66%, 50%, and 25%.
Right.
So I've taken like 16% off of those.
Yeah. I would also say, though, it depends on when your comp, what comp you're using and when the comp was made, right? Because you can get really specific and you can get really accurate if you use a comp that just closed.
Yeah.
Right? If you use a comp that closed in the last 90 or 60 days even, or 30 days, even better. If you're using a comp that closed in the last 30 days, you don't got to make an adjustment. You only need to make an adjustment if your comp is old. Okay, so if your comp has closed longer than 90 days out, make the adjustment. Would you agree with that?
Yep. 100%. Somebody was closing some deals. I think it was, here we go. There we go. Horatio got 5 contracts signed this week with 3 already assigned, total of 58,000 in assignments. Come on.
Unreal.
Let
Horatio.
us know how you found them, brother.
Yeah, good job.
Share what's working.
Well done. Well done.
What play are you running that's working? That's awesome.
Shout out to Pace. Pace has been hanging out in Florida the last week. I think he skydived today.
Mm-hmm.
He took 75 sub 2 and Astro flipping community members and threw them out of a plane, and then jumped alongside with them.
He did it with him?
Yeah, he did.
Has he done it before?
No, it was his first time.
What?
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Would you do that? Have you skydived before?
I have not.
Would you?
I have no interest in it, but
Yeah,
I think if it was like a big event, I'd be
I'm
like,
too rich for that. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I have no desire for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear mixed things that it's just a nightmare. So
Yeah.
you did it? How was it? Terrifying. Okay. Yeah. Keep loading us up with questions here, guys, that go fast. So get them going. And so you've got us both here. Pace will be back with us next week. He's just traveling back from his long road trip over a few weeks. So
Brandon Hunter asked a question.
Yeah.
How would you deal with a property that has no easement or access to it? Previous owner had a handshake to use the neighbor's road, but the current seller does not have an agreement, making it a nightmare. Oh, you know what this is called? A flag lot.
Mm-hmm.
A flag lot.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in one of these deals before. They're very stressful because if you have a neighbor that's not willing to sign some kind of a document or an easement that allows your current owner to use the driveway, then they can just say, sorry, you can't access your property through my property any longer, and I'm going to close off access, and now you got to figure out how you're going to access the house. Very, very, very dangerous kind of property to own if you don't have some form of control, if you don't have some kind of agreement. I also would say that it will make this property very difficult to wholesale because no buyer wants to get involved in that kind of litigation. They don't want to be involved in going and getting all of this stuff figured out. Now, on the other side of that, if you can figure it out, if you can go get the easement, if you can talk to the neighbors and you can get all the documentation and all of the things in writing to protect a future buyer, you can probably contract that initial house at a very good price, put in all of the necessary easements that are required to make the lot accessible, and then wholesale it for a nice fee because you've gone and done and added a bunch of value to the situation.
Yeah, flag lots are a nightmare. Absolutely nightmare. Well, to get them, I mean, it just takes a long time. I mean, it depends on where you're at. Depends on where this property's at and how long it's going to take you to get that approved. But you're going to have a very long inspection period. And that really brings up any kind of new, when people are splitting lots or when people are looking to get something rezoned, you know what I mean? You need to have a long inspection period and you need to find very specific people to be able to buy that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. You traveling anywhere?
I am not going anywhere for a while. I'm taking my wife to New York City in the beginning of March for our anniversary.
What?
Happy 9 years, Nat. Yes, we're going to New York, have a nice romantic 4-day trip. I'll have just finished the Bigger Pockets book, so I'll have a huge monkey off my back.
Yeah.
And I'll just going to go eat some good food, watch some Broadway shows, and stare at my wife, hang out with my wife. I feel like I haven't hung out with her in ages, even though we live in the same house.
Yeah.
Life can just get really, really overwhelming sometimes. So I'm excited for that.
Why New York?
We both like New York. It's it's a city that her and I both have a lot of good memories in, and we've traveled to before alone. And so we want to just recreate some of the better days that we enjoyed in New York and go to a restaurant that we have as a tradition. We like to go to the Boathouse, in Central Park. It's a beautiful place to sit and eat and have a cocktail and eat some salads and whatnot. It's good. I'm just going to go and enjoy the day.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
And congratulations to Michael Reyes in Tucson. Closed his first deal for $28,000 on Friday. Congratulations. He is in TTP and this one, Michael, listen, Michael had some deals fall through. Was really feeling, oh my gosh, is this going to work? Is this going to work? Is this going to work? We talked on a weekly basis all the time, and he kept taking action, even though he wasn't like 100% like, you know what I mean? Like, this is definitely going to work.
Starting to feel it.
He was starting to feel the pressure. He was starting to feel, and then boom, he gets this deal, makes $28,000, and now he's off and running. Absolutely.
Congrats. And that just goes to show, you do need to work through the times when there's no motivation. You've got to be able to push through the moments where your mind and your body are telling you you're tired, that you want to give up. When your spouse or your friends or the people in your life are discouraging you, saying that you're chasing rabbits or you're betting on a pipe dream. Look, you guys see week after week, there's hundreds of people who get incredible results. And again, my Astro community, between the months of June to December, $7 million in assignments between June and December.
Yeah.
That's a crazy number. Right? But if in 6 months we can get $7 million in assignment fees done in that small community, what can you guys accomplish with just taking action? Right? Michael Reyes just saw it. Don't give up. I make $28K. That's the lesson. That's the lesson you need burnt into your subconscious, that I don't give up. I keep pushing. And when I continue to behave in this manner, when I push through whatever's holding me back, I succeed. That right there is proof of concept. That's what's going to keep you on the phones. That's what's going to keep you in line to continue building your business and making a tremendous difference.
It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. Working works every time. Working works. Just stay focused. Have quality conversations with people that own ugly houses, and you win. Evan says, what do you suggest when chatting to a real estate agent to connect with the investors they know? Referral fee?
So yeah, great question here, Evan. And I think it really depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Okay. Which side of the deal are you on here? Are you selling a deal or are you trying to buy a deal? If you're selling a deal, okay, if you're selling a wholesale deal and you want an agent to help move it to one of their investors, what I typically tell realtors is add your fee on top of my price, right? So if my selling price is $150,000, an agent might decide that $10,000 is how much they want to make. They're going to go and sell it to their client for $160,000.
Yeah.
They're going to add $10K on to my price.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't use the word referral fee ever with a real estate agent. Referral fee is like saying vegetables to children.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Real estate agents don't want to hear referral fee. Referral fee. Remember that. Referral fee is like saying vegetables to children. They don't like it. Referral fee means you're making less money. Referral fee means that you're not worth 3%. Referral fee means discounted. Don't say that. What you say instead is add your fee. Whatever you like to make, your fee is unlimited. You want to make $2,500? Make $2,500. You want to make $25,000? Make $25,000. You know your buyer. You know what they're looking for. You know how much money they want to make. Act accordingly.
Mamadou. Took me 8 months of struggle to get my first wholesale deal and build the momentum. I have done hundreds of transactions since.
Wow.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, some of the best wholesalers that I know took 4 months, 5 months, 6 months to do their first deal, but they just stayed with it. They understood that if they just stay with it and build a healthy pipeline of opportunities, something is going to pop. Something is going to pop. And if you surround yourself with people doing this business and you don't just remain on an island all by yourself, you can go faster. You're going to feel more confident that this will work seeing other people do it. And when you see other people do it, you can ask them questions on what's going on with your leads. What should you say? How should you respond? There's only a certain amount of objections that you're going to run up against in this business, and you're going to learn how to respond to those, and you're going to be really, really good and comfortable whenever you're talking to a property owner. And once you have that skill, that's a skill that can't be taken away. The economy doesn't take that away. Life events don't take that away. Making bad investment choices don't take that away. You can always rely on the skills that you build once you build up that skill of being able to effectively speak with people that represent property owners or the property owners themselves. So you should be encouraged. You should be energized when you go out and have these conversations.
Correct.
And because it's building to your experience, it's building to the skills that you have. I'm just telling you, those reps, the skills, they're stored in your subconscious, and that is what affects your behavior, and that's what affects your actions. It's the people that you hang out with, the things that you read, the things that you hear, and the actions that you take. It's all coming in. It's all building in there. And so build the skills of effective communication with property owners, and you will win. You will win a lot faster than most.
Or don't. And here's the thing, right? You can still be massively successful even if you're a terrible communicator by leveraging technology. Look, Hunter Runyon, he's the worst, bro. I love him to death. He's my business partner, but the guy didn't pick up a single one of my phone calls ever. Yeah. He still doesn't answer my calls.
What,
right?
The DMs?
The only way he would deal with me was through text message or DM. But I'll tell you what, he sold his first 50 houses without ever having to pick up a phone or have a conversation with anybody.
Right.
He did it all by text. Leverage technology, guys.
Well, how did he go from that to being your partner?
Well, as I said, he was massively talented at information systems. So he was able to communicate with a much greater audience than I was able to communicate the way that I was doing things. And he was very talented at building buyers lists.
He would find the buyers.
He would find the buyers.
Okay.
And so for me, working with Hunter, even though he didn't talk to me, I could still do business with him through text message. For another Andy Wrong, my 17-year-old high school student that can't get on the phone all day long because he's stuck in high school at his desk.
Yeah.
What does he do? He goes and builds Astro Blaster, and he uses technology to communicate with agents all day while he's sitting at school.
They're still talking to people though, bro. They're still, whether it be over text message or whether it be, it's still communication. It's still effective communication.
It's still communication. Yes.
Right.
Which, by the way, I believe there's like 5. We opened up 5 more spots. The waiting list is insane right now. But we have opened up 5 more spots on the Astro Blaster. Bobby's going to put a link in the chat right now. If you have not yet joined the Astro Blaster family, hop in, guys. It's a very inexpensive tool to take your agent outreach and send it to the moon by having conversations without having to be there. How fun.
Awesome. Brian, what can I pull from court places for leads? You can get probates. You can get inherited properties. I really like going to the neighborhood services department or whatever that's called in your area and getting code violations. That list is going really, really well. You can technically get pre-foreclosures there, but there's a lot of other tools that you can get for that make it a lot easier. You can get the properties that are coming up for auction, all the auction information there. You can get a lot of interesting lists.
A good one that I've heard, I know that agents I work with use this one, but they'll look for any properties that have had evictions served.
Yeah.
So
evictions.
That's a tired landlord, right?
Yep.
If you have a landlord right now that has a tenant in their house and they've just filed an eviction against their tenant, it's a really, really strong list to go and pull that list of current evictions and call those landlords and say, hey, looks like you're in the process of evicting somebody. What if I just buy this off your hands, take this property off your hands, and I handle the eviction? Mm-hmm. A lot of property owners will take that. A lot of property owners will say, you know what? I'm tired of this guy. I hate this person. I don't want to deal with this house anymore. I'm tired. That's a tired landlord. A tired landlord is not somebody who's owned a property that hasn't lived in it for more than 10 years. That's not a tired landlord. That's somebody who's owned a house for more than 10 years. A tired landlord is somebody who's had to evict somebody. They're tired.
So everybody, let's circle back while we're waiting for some more questions. So everybody that sends you, every property, you said you have 50 that you're selling right now and in Phoenix, and all of those properties are coming, like people are asking you to sell those, or they're a relationship that you have with a real estate agent, right?
Correct.
Okay. So how do people know to even bring it to you? You know what I mean? How do people know if somebody wants to look at this model and say, okay, I want people to bring me deals too. How does that start?
Great question.
Yeah.
So say you're not Jamil Damji and you don't have a world famous wholesale brand and you've got to start from scratch, right? How would you do it? Well, first thing I would do is I would be doing the majority of my communications via social media.
Yep.
Okay. Social media is going to connect you with more wholesalers than anything else. Now, where do you find these wholesalers? Number of places. First place, Facebook groups.
Yeah.
Right. You've got a TTB Facebook group. I got an Astro Flipping Public Facebook group, Creative Finance by Pace Morby Facebook group. There's the Wholesaling Houses Elite Facebook group. There's a Facebook group for every city for wholesalers. Okay, there's a Facebook group you can get into and connect with and talk to people. On top of Facebook groups, where else can you go to find other wholesalers? Social media like Instagram. You look at people's IG, you see what they're hashtagging. Wholesale Houses, Wholesale Arizona, Wholesale Houses Arizona. You start looking up those areas, or you start looking up those hashtags, and then you see who's using those hashtags. And then you go see who's liking those photos. And you can go down an entire rabbit hole to see who's been involved in wholesale transactions based off of just what they're following and what they're liking on Instagram.
Right.
LinkedIn. People sleeping on LinkedIn. There's a lot of wholesalers that have LinkedIn profiles. Reach out to them there. Bigger Pockets. There's a huge community of wholesalers that are a part of Bigger Pockets right now. Wholesale Hotline, every Monday, 5 p.m. You can come in here and meet with how many? We got near 500 people online right now that you can connect with and talk to that are doing wholesale deals. Sunday Service, or Get Creative, which has now been renamed to. You can go to the Get Creative podcast. Pace has anywhere between 700 to 1,000 people that show up every week. Straight Outta Compton, every Sunday on my YouTube. You can come and meet another 500 or 600 people that you can talk to. Every challenge that I do, I got on my last Astro Blaster challenge, I had over 1,000 people in the chat. Where were you? Were you connecting with people? Were you networking? Every wholesale event. Don't go to the wholesale events to go and buy their $30,000 packages. Now, I'm not saying that that coaching's not good, but go with the intention to meet people. Also, if you're going to an event where there's going to be 2,000 wholesalers live in person, how many people do you think are going to show up virtually? Why haven't you bought the virtual ticket as well? Every wholesale event, I tell my team, show up physically, show up virtually. Have somebody in the chat telling everybody, my name is Andy so-and-so from Keighley, Arizona. I can help you sell all your deals. But again, I'm still on that track of where do people find other wholesalers.
Yeah.
Carrot websites. Who's using Carrot websites? Those are acquisition wholesalers.
Mm-hmm.
Go and find out whoever's using a Carrot website. How do you tell who's on Carrot? Go to the Carrot Facebook group. See who's a part of it. See who's writing in there. See who's connecting, who's involved. Guys, the list goes on and on and on. But these Facebook groups, these social media platforms, Bigger Pockets, Connected Investor, all of these platforms are helping you connect with other like-minded people. Now that you know where all the wholesalers hang out, how do you reach out to them? Well, first off, don't reach out to them if you don't have access to buyers, okay? No wholesaler wants to talk to you if you don't have access to buyers. So if you haven't gone and started looking at a buyer's list, connect to a disposition wholesaler at least. You know how many people have done their first deal by going to an AC wholesaler and saying, hey, you have a deal for sale? Yes. Let me see it. Great. Do you mind if I work this deal? Can I send it out to some people? Sure. How much you asking? $150. Great. They go and take that contract at $150, hand it to Keighley.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Keighley.
Sell it.
This wholesaler wants $150 for this. Can you sell it? I think we can. Yes. Okay. Give us written permission. They give us written permission. We go and take it off. We send it out on our list. All of a sudden, we sell it for $170. Go back to first wholesaler. Hey, we'll do the deal at $150. Great. Send me an assignment. Wholesaler in the middle gets it assigned to him for $160. Or yes, wholesaler assigns it to us at $160.
Yeah.
We assign it to our buyer at $170. We each make $10,000. Everybody's happy. What's the matter with that?
It's wonderful.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
This is how business is done. And the people who say, no, I don't want a JV. I don't want a JV. You know what happens to those guys? They cancel.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not working hard enough on selling their old deal. They do. 7 out of 10 wholesale deals cancel if they don't have somebody else involved. It's a fact.
Tap in to people that have
Squat up, man.
Yeah, that's it.
Squat up.
That have the cash buyers. Steven, how would you approach 2 homes next to each other, same owners, but 5 siblings involved in both houses? I love this. We run into this all the time, Steven. You have to see what you got to see what their problem is. That's what you have to discover. Are they on Hell Island? Are they trying to get to Heaven Island? And if so, you need to see which bridge that they want to cross to get there. Why don't you list it with a real estate agent? Like, you have to remove all of these different options to get down to a cash as is offer and make sure that everybody is on board with that. Okay. Because if you're trying to work with one person that's like, really wants the money fast, but the rest of the family's like, I don't care, I want to get the most money, then you're going to spin your wheels. All right. So you got to see what is the strategy here. Who is, first of all, the actual decision maker? And if they're all the decision makers, then you have to understand what do they want to do with this? Do they want to trade price for speed and convenience, or do they want to get the most out of it and put it on the market with an agent and sell it on the market? Do they want to fix it up themselves and sell it for even more money? Do they want to fix it up and put tenants in it? Does it even need fix up? Do these properties need fix up? Right? So it doesn't matter if they're right next to each other. That doesn't mean anything. Really. I mean, it's just two separate contracts that we would do on those deals. But you got to make sure that you're checking off all the different bridges from Heaven Island, from Hell Island to Heaven Island, and see if there is a problem. If there's not a problem, refer a really good real estate agent and move on.
I love this question from Fabian Hernandez. If you can find it, Matt. Fabian Hernandez said, I just locked up a deal. How do you go about depositing earnest money without using your own? I usually use my money, but I rather not when wholesaling. All right. There's a couple of ways, Fabian, that you can do this. The first way is you can sell it very quickly and have your buyer's EMD fund your EMD. And that's usually a lot of real estate contracts written with realtors have about 72 hours to get your EMD in. Okay, that's pretty standard. Now, if they want EMD in right away, I would suggest working with a Gator lender. If you're not familiar with a Gator lender, hey, Gator Tribe, in the chat, say hi. Now you're happy. Okay, you're welcome. All you Gator lenders, you're welcome. Fabian, here you go. These are people who will lend you EMD to do your deal. They'll actually lend you EMD to do your deal. Now, they're going to take a piece of your deal. That's why they're called Gators, chomp, chomp, chomp. But they will help you with EMD. Another thing that you can do, Fabian, is you can work with a Keegley franchise. Keegley franchise, they are happy to fund an EMD for you. Okay, but they're going to want you to exclusively use them for the disposition on that house. So you get lots of choices here. You can either wholesale the deal, sell it to a buyer, and have their EMD come in and act as your EMD if you have some time to deposit earnest money. If you don't have time to deposit earnest money, you can work with a Gator lender, and they can give you earnest money. You can also work with a disposition wholesaler who can fund your EMD for you. That's just 3 ways.
I'm curious to know how much EMD the seller is asking for. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I just had a deal where a seller was asking for a $25,000 EMD, and somebody from my community, he jumped in, and it was just another Astro student. Somebody from my community said, hey, I got you. I'll loan it. Now they're going to give that Astro student who's funding the EMD a substantial return. But I mean, that's what Gator lending is all about. You don't have time to do deals, be a Gator lender. Just use your business credit to fund people's EMDs. Now, guys, be careful that you're funding EMD for a wholesaler that has used the correct contracts. Okay, there's people out there pretending like that they understand what Gator lending is, and they haven't used the right contracts, and they're putting people's EMD at risk. So make sure it's actually somebody who's been through PACE's program, who's using the appropriate contracts, and they're not just some schmuck who's pretending to be a Gator lender. Because here's what happens. Okay, if you don't use the right contract and you fund somebody's EMD and then they don't cancel in time, or it requires a mutual cancellation between seller and buyer, and now you've got a salty seller because you had to cancel and they don't want to give you back the EMD. I've seen it where the person who funded the EMD lost that money because they didn't strike out the mutual cancellation clause.
Yep.
If you guys don't know what a mutual cancellation clause is, tomorrow morning, call your title company and ask them, am I in a state that requires or has their real estate contract, the standard realtor real estate contract, does it have a mutual cancellation clause? Meaning, do both seller and buyer have to agree to cancel in order to get my EMD back? If so, what verbiage do you need me to put into my contract to cancel that out and have it be a unilateral cancellation where the buyer can cancel without needing the seller's permission? Okay. On the other side of that, when you're wholesaling a house and you've assigned a deal, you don't want to have a mutual cancellation there either. Why? Say, for instance, you wholesale a deal and your buyer poops the bed on you. Okay, they don't close. You should be getting that earnest money, right? Well, if you have a mutual cancellation in your contract, you're not, because that buyer has to sign an agreement saying that you're allowed to take the EMD. And if you've got a shady buyer, and obviously they didn't do what they said they were going to do, they didn't close in time, you want to make sure that on your assignments that it has a unilateral cancellation clause. I just gave you guys $1 million worth of game. $1 million. I'm telling you guys, you don't know how important what I just said to you is. Write that stuff down. Watch this Wholesale Hotline episode over and over again until what I just said to you sinks in.
How many states have mutual cancellation?
Gosh, a dozen at least. dozen at least. I know Florida does.
I think Texas as well.
Possibly.
Yeah. Guys, let us know. Let us know if you're in a state that has the mutual cancellation. Reed says, I'm just very worried about legal trouble and liability with these wholesale opportunities. And I have no experience whatsoever, so I don't know how to go about creating contracts. Well, welcome, Reed, to Wholesale Hotline, where we squad up. For real. Huh?
He updated that comment.
Oh, he updated it?
It's on the screen.
Oh, okay, got it. Why I'm so worried about the liability. Does transaction coordinator check to see if the contract is sound? Yeah, absolutely. Listen, you can squad up. Squad up with people that have experience in your marketplace, brother. Squad up. Find somebody that is going to walk you through the purchase agreement so that you feel comfortable and confident. And I can and listen, if you're feeling, oh, you're a minor. Okay, got it. I'm a minor really trying to get into this. Okay, good. Take your parents with you. Take your parents, squad up with somebody that's doing this. Go to a meetup wherever you're at and go find people that are doing this business. They're there. They want to help you out. They'll meet with your parents. They'll meet with everybody and get you connected and be able to do this. Do you have a lot of people that are under 18?
Yeah, actually, funny enough, man, I got lots. I didn't know that it might be just the funny videos that I put out, but I've attracted a little bit of a younger audience, right? So I have multiple people that are in astro flipping that are under 18 years old. And just like Reed, they've had to use help from a parent or a guardian to help them sign their contracts. So absolutely, I completely sympathize with what you're saying, Reed, but here's what they did do. Okay, they made sure that their minor was involved in a community that would make sure that they were not going to get into trouble. Okay, that they were helping them with the contracts, reading everything, making sure that what they were getting committed to wasn't going to come back and haunt them or create problems for them. But also understand, Reed, that as long as you have an inspection period on your contract, you can cancel a deal for whatever reason you want during the inspection period. The only caveat, again, is having a unilateral cancellation clause in your contract so that you can just say, hey, guys, I'm walking away. I don't want this house anymore. It's blue and I don't like blue houses. See ya. That's enough. That's enough to cancel the deal. So you put no one at risk. You don't put your parents at risk. You're not putting any money at risk. Make sense?
Believe Steve, do title companies offer real estate contracts for deals, or do we have to pay an attorney to write up the contract? From Arizona here. Go to wholesalinginc.com, brother. Wholesalinginc.com. Get into the academy. We got a free contract there. That was written by St. Clair.
Sean St. Clair.
That writes all of our stuff.
Yep.
So absolutely phenomenal. Really, 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 really solid. So you can get it right there. Believe Steve. I like that. Rhymes. So yeah, you can get it right there, bud. And then if you need help with that, squad up with somebody in the audience here, in the group, in the community, and make sure that, if you need some help, there's people from Arizona here, guaranteed. So make sure you squad up. Awesome. Great show. Flying by. I love it. Anyway, so Hunter sends out a bunch of DMs, gets a bunch of cash buyers, finds people that want to sell the deals, matches up those cash buyers with people that want to sell those deals, all without getting on the phone. Ever. Why doesn't he like getting on the phone?
I've got a number of theories, but I don't want to say them out loud.
Okay.
I just think that he's somebody.
Well, when he started, he looked like he was 11 years old.
I mean, yeah, he still looks like he's 11 years
right.
old. But and that's that's not a diss. That's a compliment. He's beautiful and young, and we all wish we could be that preserved. But I think that Hunter is one of those people that just gets anxiety from strangers.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't enjoy having conversations with people he doesn't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't even like having conversations with people that he does know.
Sure.
Right? So it is what it is with him.
But he still had that fire.
Oh yeah, he was. Well, the thing about Hunter, just like Reed, Hunter started when he was a minor.
Yeah.
Right? I went into business with Hunter when he hadn't even turned 18 yet.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So think about, I'm in business with another 17-year-old right now.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm telling you, all you old heads out there that are thinking that these young kids don't have a lot to offer us, they absolutely do. Man, these youngsters have changed my life over and over and over again. Right now, we have Andy Rom, who built the Astro Blaster. He's 17 years old.
Yeah.
This kid's about to step into a completely different world of prop tech right now.
Sure.
Crazy.
Does he do it all through text as well?
Everything by text.
He doesn't get on the phone?
I mean, Andy will get on the phone when he needs to get on the phone.
Right.
And that's like Astro Blaster isn't 100% automated. You do have to get on the phone at some point.
Sure.
But it does 75 to 80% of the conversations for you. And it notifies you when it's your time to get on the phone. So the Astro Blaster works in such a way that if the agent says something that the Astro Blaster recognizes, oh, time for you to jump in, it'll notify you. Hey, time for you to jump in.
Really?
The robot's done here.
It alerts you.
Human needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get on.
And then you get on and have the call.
Nice.
But, now instead of having to talk to a whole bunch of people all day long, you're talking to 7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If your text outreach was handled robotically for you all day and all you had to do was call people where there was an actual opportunity, you could work substantially less all day long, which is exactly what Andy does, which is why he gets to go to school all day long and still make $50,000 a month wholesaling houses.
Where does he live?
Houston, Texas.
Nice. This is interesting, and this is just kind of a side note. Guys, manufactured homes, make sure they own the land.
Yes.
Okay? I love that Gossi here put that the owner owns the land too.
Yep.
Because this one will sneak up on you guys.
Also,
if it's in a park and they have a rental space, they have to pay for a space. That goes to the motor vehicle department. Okay.
Yeah, you don't wholesale those.
You don't. Yeah.
The other piece here, Gosi, I want you to understand is know what year of construction your manufactured home is. Because any manufactured home that was built prior to 1976 cannot be financed by a lending institution. It needs to be 100% cash. So if your manufactured home was built pre-1976, it's going to be worth substantially less than a manufactured home built after 1976. And what would be the reason? Well, they have to pay all cash for it. So it's going to dramatically reduce the number of buyers who can buy that house. And if you have a lower demand, that means that the price goes down. So don't be fooled. I've seen a lot of wholesalers get stuck and they buy a manufactured home built in 1975 and they're using a comp on a manufactured home that was built in 1977. And they say, Jamil, your appraisal rule said they just got to be within 5 years of each other. I thought this was a no-brainer. But this is where the details will get you. When a manufactured home lending practices state they cannot lend on anything that is pre-1976. That's just the law. So pay attention. I know you, Gosi, and I know you know better. So that's
can you use a comp that was built in the 1980s?
No.
Can you use one that's in the 1990s?
No.
Can you use them if they're built after 2000?
No.
Right, guys. Don't use these comps if it was built before 1976.
Now, if you have a 1975 build,
sure.
Can you use a comp that was built in 1955? It's not best practice, but it would be viable as long as it was still a manufactured home. Hope that sunk in.
What do you think of this? Loaded Property asks, how would a 2023 wholesaler divide a $500 monthly budget?
How would a 2023
if you only had 500, if you and I could pull together $500 a month, that's it.
And had to wholesale?
Yeah.
Well,
and find deals.
Yeah, I would pay my phone bill.
Yep.
With some of that money.
There you go.
And I would save the rest.
Yep.
You don't need it. Listen, I did over 6,000 wholesale deals, and guess how much my monthly budget is for marketing? Nothing. $0. I spend $0. Save your money. You don't save your money. go get on the phone, do what TTP does, and talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
You can call real estate agents. You can work with other wholesalers. You can go on Zillow and you can find lists of people who own rental properties. Go to Zillow and see who's got a house for rent right now, and call them and say, "Hey, you got a house for rent right now. Want to sell it instead?" That's how I got my first deal.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to spend any money on any marketing. Get creative, and that'll tell you how to get on the phone.
Yeah, be really proactive. And then as you build up your big, healthy, heavy bank account, that's when you can get into some marketing budget. But when you're just starting out, that's the beautiful thing about this business is you can start out with just your cell phone. Remember, conversations and offers, guys. Conversations and offers. Come on.
Let's go. Hey, we've got near 500 people on the live. I've got 170 of you watching from my channel right now, and only 45 of you have hit the like button. So do me a favor, guys. It's a simple act of reciprocity, but hitting the like button absolutely helps the algorithm, and it lets more people see the content that we create here. So whether you're watching on Pace's channel, Brent's channel, my channel, hit the like button and let us know you're here.
Yeah, and remember, guys, this is also a podcast. We come out with a podcast every single day at Wholesale Hotline, and it's all designed to help you get deals faster. Absolutely. So make sure you check that out, and if you could leave a comment and a review and a 5-star, that would be fantastic. If you feel it earns it.
How many downloads are we getting right now?
161,000.
106
This month. This month is a little bit short, but we're at 161,000 this month.
And normally?
It's been growing. It's been growing from there. It's around
200 a month ish usually.
Yeah.
Guys, that just tells you something, right? We get thousands of views on our YouTube channels and then an additional 200,000 downloads a month.
Yep.
That just tells you how many people are out there, how many people you can connect with that are just a part of our ecosystem of wholesalers. Over 200,000 downloads a month. Think of that, right? Those are individual people downloading and listening to this content that are interested in wholesale. How can you not find JV partners to do business with? How could you not find people to TTP with and squad up with and JV with? It's impossible. You just got to look.
If I'm calling off-market properties from virtually driving for dollars, how should I go about it? Should I call each property I find as I go, build the list, then call San Diego market? I like doing it in chunks of 100 triple threat property group. Add 100 properties minimum. And if you're doing it virtually, you should be able to do this really quickly. And then what I like doing is I like taking a video of my computer screen. What is that called?
A screen share or
yeah,
wait.
Yeah, like a screen share, whatever. Screen recording of me doing it, and then send that to a VA after about a half hour, 45 minutes of showing him exactly what I'm looking for, sending him to a VA that costs $4 to $5 an hour, and have them really build it for you. And then you can build a list really fast and go after those properties, because 80% of the properties that we find direct to seller come from driving for dollars for the people's first deals.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I also want to say to Triple Threat, understand that human brain has a very difficult time moving from task to task. It's scientifically proven that multitasking is BS. All right. So you should absolutely do what Brent said. You should be batching your work to do one activity at a time. All right. So go build your list of all the houses, then go comp all the houses, and then go call all the houses. But don't do that. Actually, I would call before I comp. I would build the list. I would call, then I would comp to see what number they should be. But do one activity at a time. Your brain can't multitask between different things, and it doesn't do it effectively.
Love it. Pace will be joining us next week, guys. Pace will be back in action. He's had a crazy road trip, and he's going to be back. So if you're wondering where he's at, he's traveling a little bit, but he will be back next week, and we all miss him. So it'll be awesome. Here you go. This is good. How about this? You should hit up Adult Swim and see if you could be the next voice of Rick for Rick and Morty. Have you ever gotten that?
All the time.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think I sound anything like him, but apparently I do. I don't know.
It's the enthusiasm.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I have heard that. I think it just depends on how loud I'm getting. If I'm a little louder, I sound more Rickish.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
How should you navigate a conversation as a agent / investor?
Great.
So you're going on an appointment. You've got this property. It's in rough shape. Oh, wait, I'm on a listing appointment, but wait, they might want an offer on this deal.
Yeah. So multiple ways, right? Let's first go down the scenario that Brent's talking about. You're a licensed agent talking to a homeowner for a potential listing. You get to the listing, you realize this house is in terrible shape. Okay, so you can tell them one of two things. You can say, look, Mr. Property Owner, I'm a licensed agent. I'm here. I'm going to present to you all the different ways that we can sell your house. First and foremost, in the condition it's in right now, I think you're going to need to do some repairs in order for it to even be financeable.
Yep.
I can put you in touch with some vendors who can tell you how much it's going to cost to get you into that financeable condition, but you're not going to get top dollar. You're going to sell it in as-is condition, but you're going to spend some money fixing the roof, fixing the fascia, fixing some plumbing, just making the house financeable for a lender to feel confident to put money on your house.
Yep.
Second thing is that you could do is you could renovate this house and you could make it beautiful. Like you've probably seen some of the houses in your neighborhood here that have sold for like really high numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, usually what happens is they've hired designers and they've done an extensive remodel and you can do that too. And maybe that's the thing you should do. And if you did a beautiful remodel, this is what I could sell it for you at.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the other option. I could buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Now this would be me taking off my agent hat and putting on my investor hat and saying to you, I'm not going to be representing you anymore. I'm actually going to be the cash buyer on this transaction. I'm not your agent. If you sell it to me as a cash buyer, I'm not your agent. I'm just your buyer. But what does this do for you? It means that you don't pay any commission. It means that I pay cash and I close fast. And I don't ask you to do any of those repairs. You get to decide. That's it.
This was my life.
Yeah.
This is my life the first 3 years of doing wholesale. Right. And so I would give them two options and you would be shocked. Here's the option. You can get way more if you put it on the market. Now, if you put it on the market to get way more, it's going to probably be with a conventional loan, which means you have to do all these things. You need to be able to fix all of these things that are going to pop up in an inspection report for the bank to feel comfortable lending on this property. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. You could do nothing and I can give you a cash offer here. It's going to be, you're going to make less, but this is where it would be. And I'm telling you, it was most of the time when it was a rough looking property or a property that needed some a complete renovation, they went with the cash as is offer.
Yep.
They did. It was wild.
Yep.
Even when they saw that they could make $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 more if they got it into condition where a conventional loan could be put on that deal.
But that costs money.
And time.
And a lot of people don't have either.
If they want speed and convenience, then they then the price is lower.
Now,
that's it.
Loaded property. Let's say you're talking as an agent investor who's talking to other agents. Okay, because we talk to a lot of folks that are doing agent outreach, and maybe you're an agent right now and you're like, hey, I want to do agent outreach. How do I approach other agents as an agent investor? Well, just like that. Let's just say, for instance, I'm licensed and I'm calling real estate agents. And I say, hi, this is Jamil. I'm calling from Remax Fine Properties. Look, I'm actually looking for a couple of things. Myself, I'm purchasing houses to flip. If you've got anything coming to market in original condition or needing some substantial repairs, I'd love to look at it for myself. But in addition to that, I also work with other buyers. So I might buy it. One of my buyers might buy it, but I'm a licensed agent. This is where I hang my license at this brokerage. I can close fast. I'm well referred. What do you got?
Mm-hmm.
And let them talk.
Yeah,
that's it. You've disclosed who you are. You've said you're licensed. You've said that you buy for yourself or other people, meaning that you might wholesale. Guys, everything I just said right now is the golden approach if you're licensed and you're talking to other real estate agents.
Use it. Love it. That's it.
That's it.
That's the show.
Well,
next week we'll be back with Pace.
We'll be back next week with Pickle Rick.
Love it. Love you guys. Check it out. Listen, check out the podcast, Wholesale Hotline. Check out, when do you go live?
I will be going live again on Sunday.
Love it. Straight out of Compton?
Straight out of Compton.
I'll be live Wednesday, 10 a.m.
Actually, I won't be live this coming Sunday. I'm taking my wife to New York.
Yeah.
You guys, I won't be back until Wholesale Hotline next Monday.
There you go. Wednesday, Brent Daniels YouTube channel, 10 a.m. Check us out. Live show. We go for an hour then. And check out Growth Summit 2023. The link is in there. You see all of us. You get the whole collection. You get Pace, Jamil, and myself all there in April. Love you guys.
Peace.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.